Well, hello everyone. Here we are again. Welcome back to the Football Overseas channel and welcome back to another round of Championship predictions. This is part two of this another 3-game, 7-day period for all the Championship clubs. They've all got the 3 games in that time. They've had one at the weekend and we'll have a little look back on the implications of that. Nothing spectacular this weekend, I have to say. Some fairly routine results. Some teams will be happy with what they did, and as usual, some teams will be unhappy with the outcomes. But we'll have a look back at some of those results and what it meant to the league table, if anything. And we then will preview the matches, midweek matches, which are this coming Tuesday, Wednesday, and there's one on Thursday, just to keep us all on our toes. We've got a game on Thursday. It's West Bromwich Albion against Burnley, so top of the table or top of the table stroke playoff match or section match. So yes, that is Thursday night's game. But before then, we've got the other 11 fixtures to look at. So we'll see who's playing who and what is likely perhaps to happen. First of all, what did happen at the weekend? Sunderland are still top, but they've had their wings clipped, or their lead clipped anyway, by Leeds to 3 points after they were held, and I think it's held to by the second bottom team, Queen's Park Rangers, in a goalless draw. Unfortunately, I always hate it when players get. We always hate it when players get sent off, but it just mars the game, spoils the game, and it was quite early on that Sunderland had a player sent off, so they had to play a good chunk of the match with 10 men. So they switched to their resolute mode by the look of it, and held on and got in the end what you must say with 10 men was a very well earned and hard earned point against QPR, starting to fight for their lives a little bit now. Still only the one win now in 13 as we go into round 14 as this is. And yes, so that meant QPR had kept their little mini unbeaten run going, but they're all draws. And Sunderland couldn't break them down, and as I say, had the player sent off, so it made life more difficult. They had their wings clipped, as I say, by Leeds, who ran out comfortable 3-0 winners against Plymouth, all done and dusted by half-time, really. And then they just ran the clock down in the second half. Missed a couple of other chances as well, but Plymouth didn't really have anything to offer. So as you'll see shortly, they have a huge match coming up on their fixture list. And Sheffield United closed the gap again as well. So they got their second win on the bounce. A very good win at Blackburn by 2-0. So they will, they will be happy with that outcome. Blackburn's first home defeat, so and they had their first draw the match before, both without scoring a goal. So a little blip for Blackburn at the moment, which has seen them drop out of the top 6. So there we are. And at the bottom, Portsmouth. Yes, let's not forget Portsmouth. How can I do that? When they got a very good result at Hull on Saturday. They were a little bit not outplayed, but a little bit certainly second best in the first half. They went a goal behind quite early on. Again, that's something they've really got to stop happening if they can. I know they don't want it to happen, but it's just one of those things that seems to is a recurring theme of their matches, especially away from home. They don't give themselves a chance to get a foot in the door before they're a goal down, and that happened again on Saturday. But this time they did prise the door open again as the game went on, and managed to get the equaliser very early on in the second half, and they should have really, what I saw the highlights, should have gone on and won the match. And they had some rough refereeing decisions, or they were the wrong side of some certainly iffy refereeing decisions from what I saw and read. Anyway, that's all done. It's all in the past. We now start to look at the 12 games in this midweek and see what they can all bring us. So we start with on Bonfire Night. So will it be explosive? Who knows? They've got 6 chances for one of the games to be explosive. And the first of those is Bristol City against Sheffield United, which could well be, you never know. Bristol City now had a good 3-1 win at Preston. Again, they were on the right side of a very interesting refereeing decision. Those who are of a certain age will remember the hand of God from Madonna. Well, this was something the hand of God in the Championship on Saturday, because it was a blatant handball for the first goal, but just caught on the blind side of the referee and playing to the whistle, as you do these days. The whistle didn't happen, and Bristol City scored their goal. They got their first goal, and it set them on the way to a comfortable, not comfortable, but a pretty good and sound 3-1 win at Preston. Sheffield United, as we said just now, saw away Blackburn excellently away from home. So another tough away game for Sheffield United, they will see it as. Bristol City unbeaten in 8. As we know, they've had a few draws, but they've had a couple of wins lately as well. So they've just lost twice, the 2 games so far, as have Sheffield United. So they're on equal par in that respect. But so it's a big game for Bristol City. This is a real one now to show if their recent uptick in form is not genuine, but is it really gonna take off and push them into the playoff places or that top end of the table for the good part of the season? We shall see. Although they're, as you know, from those who watch listen to my stuff regularly, they are my team. So it's with a heavy heart that I think Sheffield United will take the points. I just think they've just got too much. But Bristol City held Leeds recently in a sort of a slightly disappointing 0-0 draw, but they did hold a good side, so they've got previous at doing that. So I'm gonna take Sheffield United on the night, under lights, on firework night, to edge the game by 2-1. Bristol City 1, Sheffield United 2. Then we have Oxford against Hull. Now Hull have had 3 draws. Yes, 3 draws and 2 losses in the last 5. So their fans are a little bit tetchy. And I'm still, this is a personal view, I'm still slightly bemused why they got rid of Liam Rosenior at the end of the season when they finished in 7th place. Yes, they didn't quite meet the target. Perhaps that was his objective, to get them in the playoffs. But they had a damn good go. And just missing out by the odd couple of points, I don't think was worthy of getting rid of him. But there may be more to it than that, and I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's another side to that story. But it hasn't done Hull much good, in my opinion. Here they are now, ailing a little bit. No one in 5. And they will go to Oxford, who will want to repair the damage of their 2-1 loss at home to Swansea on Saturday. So, and I think they will. I think Oxford will come up trumps. Hull, as I say, had that 1-1 draw with Portsmouth. So they will be disappointed with that. So both teams will be coming off back of a slight weekend, sort of low points, if you like, a little bit. But I'm going to take Oxford to get back to winning ways at home. Oxford United 2, Hull City 0. Then we have Queen's Park Rangers, who are just about their second bottom of the table, not 10 points. They will want to try and get something out of another home match. This time against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough will be still smarting from their 3-0 home defeat with Coventry. Again, they had a player sent off early on, and it's so difficult to play in this level, any level, but in the Championship where it's so cutthroat, you need all your troops on the field, on the pitch. And Middlesbrough lost one early on and ended up comfortably going down by 3-0 to a slightly rejuvenated Coventry. So just the last couple of wins now, just showing a bit of form again. They've had a very sluggish start, as I've said before. Anyway, it's Middlesbrough going to Queen's Park Rangers. I think down in West London on Tuesday night, Middlesbrough will recover, take the points against a fragile Queen's Park Rangers at the moment. So I'm going to take them just to narrowly win by 2-1. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Middlesbrough 2. Then we have an interesting one really here. Sheffield Wednesday against Norwich City. Now, Norwich City went down to Cardiff City with 2 late goals. In fact, I think the winner was almost the last kick of the match by the Cardiff City striker, Callum Adoa. And yes, he will. So he put Norwich away the last kick of the match. Cardiff rejuvenated at home for sure. 3 wins on the bounce, 5-0 to then 2-0 and now 2-1. So the Bluebirds are starting to spread their wings a little bit at last this season. So Norwich will be disappointed with that. last-minute loss. And Sheffield Wednesday will be even more disappointed with their 6-2 home defeat to Watford, which was obviously a surprise result. Any team scoring 6 away from home, but albeit Watford, who had stumbled a little bit of late, and they've now had a couple of wins on the trot, including this excellent win on Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon at Sheffield Wednesday. So I think Sheffield Wednesday licking their wounds, Norwich licking their wounds. I think it's all set up for Sheffield Wednesday to do a lot better, and Norwich perhaps to come in the face of that. And I think it'll be another draw here. So I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 1, Norwich City 1. Then we have what's, I think Wayne Rooney's got a bit confused with as well. It's slightly oddly called the Dockyard Derby. It is called the Dockyard Derby, and it's been called the Dockyard Derby for many, many years. Two sort of South Coast team and a South West team, both with heritage in their naval bases. And the two football teams have always played out this match, which has been known as the Dockyard Derby. And Wayne Rooney went on one of the media outlets on Saturday night and simply called it a derby, which has upset a few people, and I'm not sure quite why, but I think it's because it's Wayne Rooney that said it, and it makes it more high profile than if I said it or anyone else said it. But it is classed as the Dockyard Derby, so I'm going to maintain that. And it's Plymouth Argyle at home to Portsmouth. But when all's said and done about what it's called, that's noise outside of the match itself, which is huge for both sides. This is where really Portsmouth need to back up their excellent win, or excellent draw on my check, excellent draw at Hull on Saturday. Yes, it was a poor start, but they came back and should have won. And Plymouth were just wiped away in the first half at Leeds, held their own a bit in the second half. But this is where they've been more comfortable so far this season. And picking up all of their points, I think, bar one of the 12 points they've got. So this is really a big game for both teams. Portsmouth could and actually will go off the bottom of the table if they beat Plymouth, because by implication they will go higher on goal difference with the same number of points. So it's a big incentive for Portsmouth to get off the bottom after being there for a few weeks now, and they definitely need to get that number upticking in the win column and make their mark in this division somehow. But they've yet to really do that, and everyone knows that around the club. And it's but they can only take baby steps at a time. They had a baby step on Saturday away at Hull. This would be a giant step if they were to win this match, and it's all on. I think it's on. Yes, it's on television at 8 p.m. on Tuesday. I'm going to take Plymouth, and I say this quietly in case my neighbours are listening, but I'm going to take Plymouth just to edge this one. I think their home record underlights at Home Park has seen them get some good results so far this season. They're comfortable. They've got those memories of the wins against good sides on paper anyway, your Lutons and your Sunderlands and teams of that ilk. So Portsmouth will be needing to really have their A game totally across the field, across all areas of the pitch on Tuesday night. So, but I'm going to take Plymouth to edge it. Plymouth Argyle 2, Portsmouth 1. And finally on Tuesday we have Swansea and Watford. And Watford will be buoyant, after their 6-2 win up in Sheffield at Sheffield Wednesday. And Swansea, as I said, I think when I did the preview for the weekend's games, you never know what you're going to get from Swansea. And we didn't. And they went to Oxford and beat a side who's been good on their own patch and turned them over 2-1. So Swansea will come back a little bit more confident than they have been recently. They're in a slap bang in the middle of the table, but that was their first win in 6. So they were just on the slide a little bit. And I think Watford will match them toe for toe on Tuesday night, given that the extent of their impressive win at the weekend. So I'm going to take it to be goals around, Swansea City 2, Watford 2. So that's the 5th of November done. Then we'll go on to the Wednesday games. There's 5 on Wednesday, starting with Blackburn Rovers against Stoke City. And Blackburn have suffered a couple of home blips recently. In fact, they've suffered a few blips in total. They've only won 1 of their last 6, and they've lost their last 2. So they need to re-establish their footing before they slide too far down the league. And I think there's a chance to do it here against Stoke City, who are just their spike of their graph is all up and down at the moment. But they did have a good win at home to Derby on Saturday, so that added to their recent decent home record. But I think Blackburn will, by implication, if they have to start readdressing the balance a little bit, and they won't want to have another home drop points at home. So I'm going to take them to take this match by 2-0. Blackburn 2, Stoke City 0. Then we have Coventry City against Derby County. And Coventry, as I say, will be very much buoyed by the last couple of wins, in particular an excellent win, albeit against 10 men, but that's an aside. They fully deserve their 3-0 win on Saturday. Derby went down, as I say, to Stoke. Derby will just want to, hang on a minute, we don't want to get drawn into anything here. And they've only won 1 of the last 6 now. So perhaps the buoyance of coming up from League One is just starting to taper off a little bit. And now you've got to get down with the dark nights and the winter clocks go back, all of that stuff. This is where you earn your corn, not when it's nice and sunny in August. These are the tricky matches now coming up. And the travelling and all of that. The whole package is different at this time of year, I think, from a professional footballer's perspective. So Derby County then, I think, will want to try and arrest the little slump they're in, but I think it will be Coventry coming out on top in this one. Home to back up their win on Saturday, back up their last 2 wins. So Coventry City 2, Derby County 1. Then we have surprise package, to me anyway at the moment, the surprise package Millwall. If you remember at the start of the season, they were shipping goals all over the place. And now they're keeping clean sheets galore. They've only let 12 goals in 13, and as I keep referring back, I don't want to bore you with this stat too much, but they let 7 of those in the first 2 matches. So 5 in the last 11 matches is an excellent defensive record in this division, or in any division. And it's meant that they've whizzed up the league to 7th place. And they won their last 3 matches and haven't been beaten in 5. But here they are now against one of the big boys at home. They won't worry about that down at the Den on a cold, dark November night. But Leeds, I think, are made of stone stuff at the moment. They will stand firm, and I think they'll go there. And despite Millwall's best efforts, I think Leeds extra little bit of class will come through. So I'm going to take Millwall to go under on Wednesday, although, as you can tell, I'm not overly convinced that they won't perhaps take something, but I think Leeds are just seeing now Sunderland perhaps drop points the other day, and they can see Sheffield sort of oiling their wheels, so they'll want to maintain their recent decent form. So, Millwall 0, Leeds United 2 is my take on that one. 3 to go. First up, it's Luton Town against Cardiff City. And Luton were disappointed with their 1-1 draw against West Brom, albeit they went behind and came back, but they were still disappointed with that. It was a lovely equaliser. I watched a bit of that game and caught that moment when the Luton player equalised. It was a very good goal indeed. We sort of caught Cardiff really on the counter-attack. But that's where it stopped, the scoring early in the second half, or in the second half, in the early stages. And it ended up being a 1-1 draw. So it's back again at Kenilworth Road for Luton against rejuvenated Cardiff City, who have now moved up to 17th and 15 points. And if you think where they were only a few weeks ago, that is all they could have wished for, really, as we go into the key part of the season. So I'm going to take Cardiff to just nick another point on the road here, and Luton to be disappointed possibly once again with more drop points at home, or more drop points in general. So I'm going to take it to be Luton Town 1, Cardiff 1. The final game on Wednesday is Preston against Sunderland. Now, Preston will be disappointed about I know they had a rough refereeing decision, But even so, they still went down by 3 goals to 1, having got back in the game as well. So they can't say too much about it overall. I think their defeat to Bristol City was a fair scoreline, fair reflection. Sunderland, as we know, had that 10-man experience against QPR and held out for a good result. And I think Preston are there for the taking for Sunderland. If they go there and they'll have a good backing, it's not that far as night games and night travel goes for Sunderland. It's a decent run down to Preston, so they'll have a good following, and I think that will, all in all, the factors point to me anyway, to be an away win. Preston North End 0, Sunderland 2. And as I say, this one has dropped, this leaked over into Thursday. It was all a bit frustrating because I won't be able to include this one in my weekend preview, but never mind. It's West Bromwich Albion against Burnley, and Burnley are having a bit of a bump, to say the least. Just one win in the last 5, 3 of those draws, and then they had that loss at the weekend to Millwall, who, as I say, rejuvenated Millwall. And no surprise, Millwall kept a clean sheet. Burnley couldn't break them down, and they haven't been able to break too many down lately, which is a disappointment for Scott Parker, their manager. I heard him after the match. And the fans are a little bit tetchy now as well. They can see things sliding and perhaps not going as well as they can, but they're still in touch with everybody. This time, if you're in that area, you've always got a chance, haven't you? So we're into that match. I say it's up at West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich Albion also having a blip. They've had 5 draws on the trot, and guess what? I'm going to say this is going to be their 6th draw on the trot. I can't see these two having enough in them to break each other down and pull away from each other. So with that all in mind, and being its 4th against 6th, and let's try and keep their positions, I'm going to say it'll be, as far as this set of predictions is concerned, a lesser spotted 0-0 draw. West Bromwich Albion 0, Burnley 0. So there we have it, a midweek bonanza for us to keep in touch with across the 3 nights. Enjoy the midweek offerings. I'm sure there'll be some excitement, as there always is, and we'll see come Thursday evening where we are in the league table. As I say, I shall be back Thursday evening. Well, I shall be setting up the predictions for the weekend on Thursday, so I won't be able to include the West Brom Burnley result in the outcome. But there we have it. Another busy championship week. We're in the middle of that. So I hope you're having a good week so far, and enjoy the rest of the week leading up to the weekend. And I will see you ahead of that. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. The Football Overseas channel. Tell your friends. All of that. And I will see you again very soon. Take care.